All of a sudden, somebody grabbed me from behind and was wrenching my arm behind my back. It's 2 fucking cops.
No! Welcome back to Been There, Done That, Got Arrested. I'm Amber.
I'm Aaron.
Today, we've talked about you being arrested multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk about your first.
That was when I was a kid, a juvenile.
How old? I wish you had all your mugshots.
14 maybe.
Yeah.
14. I don't know if they would release, because I was a juvenile. I don't know if you can get that. Maybe I suppose you could.
Was this expunged?
No. None of my records are expunged.
Really? Okay.
I could do the one that I got busted in Ohio, but it costs money.
Yeah.
You got to hire a lawyer, put in the motions, and what do I need to do it for?
Yeah.
Unless you're getting a job where you don't want anybody to see it.
Yeah.
Or you plan on getting busted again and you don't want any.
Right.
I think that still stays there. Like if you get arrested again, the judge can see it. Like law can still see it.
Yeah.
I think. It's sealed. The document is sealed to anybody who's inquiring, on a background check.
Yeah.
But I think if you get arrested, they can still see that.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, that's got to be kind of like a scarring thing, right? Like, how old are you?
Well, I think the first time I got arrested was when I got busted when I was on the run. I remember I was sleeping in my basement. Remember I told you the old storage sheds?
Yeah.
And I was sleeping in the shed. I was on the run. I come back to Chicago.
This is, for a recap, if you guys didn't hear it, this is from the very first episode when Aaron told us a little bit about how he
was on the run, went to Florida.
Yeah.
Ran away to Florida, came back. I told you there were group homes in the area.
Right.
There was one of the girls that was dating one of my friends. Her name was Tasha. And she went home. She was also on the run too, though. But she went home to the group home to get her friends to make a sandwich. More sandwiches.
More sandwiches. Fucking sandwiches.
No, we were on the run. So it was she's like, I'm going to go home to the group home and I'll make some sandwiches and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
But she never came back because the group home with the people that run it saw her, and because she was on the run, they were like, you're not going anywhere. But then she told, I guess I got snitched out. That where she was staying was in my basement, and they're like, "Well, who was down there?" And she, with me, I'm on the run, so I'm sleeping in the shed, and all of a sudden I feel like a kick at the bottom. Someone's kicking my foot.
All right, time out. For those of you who don't know, Aaron lived in an apartment building, and at the bottom of these apartments, they had these shed areas.
Yeah, storage sheds.
Storage sheds.
Yeah, right.
And he used to go down there and party with his friends and hang out because nobody else would go down there.
Right. Right.
Okay.
People just stored their stuff down there. There was no reason for them to go down there unless they were moving or adding something to it.
Right.
Which, by the way, one of the times we partied down there, I OD'd. We went through their shed. They had a bag, a medicine bag, pill bag that was filled with so many medications, all these different pills. And I was going through them. I was like, none of these sound familiar except one of them. It was Placidil. I was like, Placidil, that sounds familiar.
What is it?
I don't know. It might be a barbiturate. Look it up. It's a barbiturate, I think.
Dude, my Google search is going to be Placidil with a generic name
for
whatever this is.
What is it?
Is a discontinued sedative hypnotic drug once used for the short-term treatment of insomnia. Its production was stopped in the U.S. in 1999 due to the issue of widespread abuse.
Yeah, it was like Quaaludes.
Yeah, and the introduction of safer alternatives like benzodiazepines.
Oh, is that really? That would be Xanax.
Oh, okay.
Benzodiazepines, Valium.
Okay.
Those are benzodiazepines. Klonopin.
It had a significant potential for dependence and with serious adverse effects. And it was replaced. It would cause dizziness and lightheadedness, drowsiness, nausea and vomiting, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. All right.
I hate to go on the segue, but this is a great story about going in and busting in somebody. Well, they didn't even bust in. They had no lock on the thing.
Yeah.
And just being teenagers. Let's see what this guy's got in his storage shed. And so a bag full of old medications. I'm going through them all. I was like, none of these sound familiar except Placidil. I was like, that sounds familiar. And there was like 50 or 60 of them in there.
Okay.
And so we're just taking them. There was no internet for us to look like you just did for what they were. We didn't know they were.
Yeah.
Unless you knew somebody who knew what it was.
Right.
So we took a pill and I was giving them to all my friends. We all OD'd. And I ate like 5 of them and was drinking on that. They expired in like 1979. So the only thing that goes wrong, like you can still potency. That's the only thing that saved my life.
Was that they weren't as potent?
I would have been dead.
How many times have you OD'd in your life?
No. Well, I mean, I've OD'd on acid once. I mean, just because I was way over and I ended up in the hospital.
Have you ever had to be brought back to life?
Nope.
No?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I one time OD'd on coke, shooting coke, but it wasn't like, I mean, I was still there. I felt like I was going to go out. I was like, my legs were again. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
about to go out. And then I just like
Yeah.
ripped the wall, but never, no.
Yeah.
I've never where I passed out or, had to be, no. And I've always been
Because
like
he doesn't have a heart.
Yeah, right. I've always been modest about like being careful with doing drugs, like in that sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can always add, but you can't take away.
Yeah.
So, but that one time I was like 14 or whatever, and we all took it. And I told my mom too, she's like, oh, I used to love Placidos. They were so good. Because my mom didn't smoke pot, but she would once in a while take pills. She loved Quaaludes. She's like,
What is a Quaalude? The only thing I know about Quaaludes is
discontinued?
Bill Cosby.
that's a brand name, by the way. Quaaludes is a brand name.
Hypnotic drug containing an active ingredient, methylqualone.
Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, they stopped making them here, but they still make them in like Africa because if you get people fucked up on drugs, they can't rebel or anything. That's why they do it. They actually make the drug so to be abused.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop that. That's my fucking face. It just like zones out sometimes and it's like,
That's my face.
stop looking at my bubs, you freaks.
But yeah, they still make Quaalude. Well, not the brand Quaalude, but the drug, methylqualone.
Yeah, so it was prescribed as a sedative and hypnotic to treat anxiety.
Yeah. And like I
And
said, I would have
insomnia.
been dead because I took like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It would probably only take like 2
That's crazy.
to OD on fresh ones.
Jesus Christ.
And I remember like, I remember my dad, I used to have a dog and he would walk the dog in the morning. And
What
then
was your dog's name?
Maya.
Oh, Maya.
And then the dog before her who trained right was Maida.
Okay.
And my sister's name is Mira. Something with that.
Wait a second.
It's like, wow, I don't know these M's. Anyways, but so my dad would like walk her in the morning and then ring the doorbell and I would call her up. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have to go upstairs. And I remember I woke up and if I called my dad or he called me, he's like, what was wrong with you this morning? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you were on something. I was like, no, I was just really tired. And I was like, why? He's like, I was trying to ring the doorbell. You wouldn't answer the door. I was like punching you, kid. You wouldn't wake up. He's like, the only reason I didn't call the paramedics is you started to be like, ugh. I was like, no, I drank last night and I just was really tired. No, I did. It took like more than 2 weeks for my brain to like reset.
Yeah.
Like my people were like, hey, Aaron. I'd be like, huh? It took like that, the response time.
Wow.
It was so fucked up.
Oh my God.
And my friends too, like, and they were smaller than me and they just took a couple and they were fucked up. I think one of them even went to the hospital.
Ugh.
You don't take pills that you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
That was a lesson I learned.
There's a lesson there to be
but
had.
I didn't know. I mean, a teenager, I was a partier and I wanted to say, well, does this get me high?
You're crazy.
I mean, a little bit.
So bad.
Maybe
not
a
even,
lot of it.
Not even the devil wanted you.
right,
He's like, fuck him.
yeah,
You can stay up there.
You can keep him. He's yours. We were sleeping. I was sleeping in one of those sheds and all of a sudden I feel a kicking at my foot and I'm like waking up and I just flashlight in my face.
Oh no.
I'm like, what?
You're
What's
like,
your name?
Jesus, is
What's
that
your name?
you?
What's your name? What you doing? I was like, what? I was like, my name's Aaron. What are you doing down here? I was like, I live in the building. He's like, what are you sleeping down here? I was like, oh, I got locked out and gave my name. And they're like, I think your name's on her because I was in the district and they get the sheet that say, runaways. They're like, we know your name. You're a runaway, aren't you? And I was like, and they arrested me and they took me in.
They arrested you?
Yeah, they brought me in. And here's the thing. So
Little Aaron?
Yeah.
In handcuffs?
They got me. They got me. They took me to jail.
They got me.
And then it was funny because like a week later, I was hanging out with my friends and it was like just past curfew. Cop car pulls up. They're like, what are you guys doing now? Which one are you? Are you 18? Da, da. And they're like, what are your names? And then I said my name. And they're like, wait a minute, aren't you on the run? I was like, no, I was on the run. They busted me last week.
Yeah. You're like,
I'm not on the run anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not a runaway anymore. But
Okay, so they arrest you
yeah, no, I mean, that was just the beginning, my very first arrest.
and they take you in.
yeah.
And what do you think?
It was either I mean,
Are you scared?
I don't know. That was one of the things I wasn't like razzled by or frazzled by getting arrested.
What?
No.
Bro, the way I would fucking shit my pants.
I think it was with my generation or maybe guys, it's almost like, clout card stuff. It's like, I got busted. I got a record.
I don't know. I mean, unless I did something deliberately and somebody came, like if I I don't know. I always say like if I did something for my kids, I'd smile in my mugshot. Absolutely.
Right.
But I just think like if I got arrested, I would be very like I feel like that would be a traumatizing experience.
I don't know. Like, I mean, like some people are scared and maybe for them it would be, but I mean, I just, there wasn't anything really to be scared of. If my dad didn't come pick me up, then I would have gone to the Audi home to the juvenile detention center.
Right.
But I just got arrested. My dad did come pick me up.
My mom had always told me, she's like, if you get arrested, call somebody else. I ain't coming to get you.
Now, there was a point where when I was stealing, robbing, I wasn't able to be picked up.
Did your parents know that you were like into these nefarious activities?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they knew I was busted. They knew I was going to court for something. It's open to them. They're my parent. I'm underage. They can see whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go to court with your family.
Well, I was going to say, didn't they have to go with you?
That's what I'm saying. So they know what's going on. And a lot of things I would like tell them because they're gonna find out anyways.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you don't tell them what they don't need to know, I guess. You know, but if it's something that they're gonna find out on their own or
But
it's the benefit that I do tell them.
I guess my question is like, what are the consequences for you when you get home after you... Nothing?
What are you gonna do? Like, I was already to the point, like once I hit around 14, and that's when I was a kid. I told you my dad used to hit me. And I remember being a kid. I'm like, when I get old enough to defend myself, I will never let my dad put a hand on me.
Yeah.
And the last couple of times that he tried he got hurt. Not that I hit him. I just like dodged.
I didn't hit him. I
remember the first time that I stood up to him, I was like, you know, he came, I was like, stand back. I was like, get
Right.
back. And of course it just infuriates him even more than
Right.
since trying to defend. And I was like, don't get physical with me. I was like, you're going to get hurt. And he lunged at me and I just did the side, poof, gave him a push. He landed on my bed and I remember his face. He's like, oh. And then years later, he's like, my shoulder was never the same after that. I was like, maybe you shouldn't have came and attacked me like that.
Yeah, I'm a
Maybe
child.
you shouldn't have come and attacked me.
Maybe
I was
you
like, I
shouldn't.
told you were going to get hurt. I didn't lay a hand on you. You were trying to attack me. I told you not to do it.
Right.
You know, and you got hurt. I mean, he tried to do the old guilt trip. My shoulder was never the same because of you. I was like, no, the shoulder wasn't the same because of you.
Don't start none, won't be none.
And the funny thing was, years later, I was already in my 20s, and I was living with my dad because I couldn't do it by my own because I was partying and drug addict. And my dad had shattered his ankle.
Yeah.
And he was on crutches. He had to basically that was the beginning of the retirement. His retirement from he was a hairdresser for many years, 30 years. And he knew once he had to have a plate put in his ankle and he was laid up for, half a year or more, he knew he was going to have to retire from that. And he ended up getting a job through the post office being a janitor for so many years. But during that time that he shattered his ankle, he's on crutches and he was trying to attack me. I came in the door and it was something we were, fighting about. And he's like, I was like,
I just
Dad,
all of a sudden
he's on
I
his
hear
crutches.
is like a Three Stooges, whoop, like right.
Dude, this was that. He's like on his crutches. I was like, Dad, I'm already in 20s now.
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna get hurt.
Right.
And he's like, his face. I told you how he looked when he got mad, bulging eyes.
Right.
And the only thing I could do, I took his crutch and I whipped it down. I was like, go get your crutch, and I slammed the door in his face. I was like, I didn't hit him. I didn't give him a chance to hit me. It was like the pacifist way.
Did your what was your mom like with disciplinary action?
Oh, totally opposite.
Okay.
Total opposite.
Never hit
Nope.
from your mom.
Nope.
No.
We got the wooden spoon. She'd come us with.
Oh,
with
me too.
On the bottom of the feet, because when we were kids, we'd try and run away, and she would slap us on the bottom of the feet. And I remember I was is when we came back from Arizona. We were all living with my mom.
Yeah.
And I was 12, 13, or whatever. And preteen, getting in fights with my sisters. And I remember.
Did your dad treat your sisters the same way he did with you?
Not as, because I was a guy, of course they couldn't. But I mean, my dad had hit them before, but lightened up as they got to the teenage years and everything.
Well, and also they probably weren't shitheads.
Well, and also they were just like, if you ever lay a hand on me, I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
I'm a woman, or a girl, you're not supposed to. Anyways, so I remember with my mom, I was defying her for some reason. I remember slamming the door and I locked it. I was like, fuck you. I remember hearing she's like, Lenny, I can't discipline him anymore. You're gonna have to take him. And that's when I moved in with my dad. But what led up to that final thing was she came at me with the spoon.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're in the swing, and I grabbed it. I grabbed the spoon, and we're fighting, and they're I snapped the spoon. I was like,
You're like, I have just freed generational trauma.
I was liberated. My mom said, she's like, you should have seen the look on your face. I was fighting, not laughing so hard because I was like, yeah. I was like, that spoon had been smacking me so many times. I was like, I did it. I broke the spoon.
Freedom.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so
then
funny.
I moved in with my dad. And then the fuck you was the last. She's like, I can't discipline him anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be dealing with this.
Yeah, that's hard.
And that's when I moved in with my dad.
Yeah. Which also didn't go well.
He couldn't discipline me either, really.
Right.
I told you, he kicked me out of the house when I was on run because I wouldn't go to school.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm not going to let you, if you're not going to school and you're not coming in by the curfew time.
Right.
and he wouldn't put any food in the refrigerator or
Yeah.
anything. He's like, because you're just going to come in with your friends and you're going to sit here and,
Right.
I'm not doing that either.
Be a shit.
Yeah. So, if you don't want these things, then do them, fix them. But, I don't know
Right.
if that's the right thing to do. I mean, I don't know. I'm still a juvenile. You're not really supposed to do that.
No, you're not supposed to do that. But I mean, if it comes to a point, it's like,
Right. I mean, there's nothing he could have done. And like I said, I feel a lot of defiance, in me, what came from the early years of getting hit by him when I was a little kid. And,
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I hope I never have to deal with that ever.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I know my kids are going to defy me, but also it's like, even with my daughter, we had a moment yesterday, she's 5, but we had a moment yesterday where she got mad at my son and she threw a toy and I just looked at her and I'm like, girl. And I never really yell at her because I don't have to. And she went in her room and she was crying and I go in there and I'm like, listen, she's like, can you not yell at me? And I'm like, I don't want to yell at you. And I don't do it on purpose.
Right.
I'm like, but can you also not throw the toy? And she's like, yeah, I won't throw the toys.
Then you won't get yelled at.
You don't yell. And I'm like, deal.
Got it. Done.
Deal. I hope it
Shake
stays that
on it.
way. Yeah. I don't know.
Awesome.
We might be fist fighting at 15.
Yeah, right.
But I think
I kind of feel that with her.
Yeah,
where it
she
goes.
also doesn't want anybody to, she never really intentionally wants to make anybody upset. And I think that's the difference between her and myself. And you talked a lot about defiance and you got hit as a kid. And I think that's a lot of it. You're like, what's the worst thing I'm going to get fucking hit?
Right.
Okay. And then you just go
Some
and
of
you're.
the things she says, I don't even know if I told you like a couple times when she's like she's like, I'm just a bad girl. I was just born bad. I'm like fighting to crack up. I was like, I was just born bad.
Dude,
so
my
funny.
daughter's a freak, man.
She's so funny, dude.
She's the best. Tell me about your most memorable arrest or jail stay then, if you can't remember your first. How many times have you been to jail?
As a juvenile, oh my God.
Just ever.
I would say with juvenile, a bunch of times, well, not a bunch, maybe like 4 or 5. And it was like, I came in so quickly after getting busted. I was kind of a chubby kid. They started calling me by my waist size because all the other kids there were thin. They're like, oh, 36 is back. Because they had to like try and find a pair of 36 pants for me. Oh, 36 is back. But probably about 4 or 5 times in audio, in juvenile detention. Mm-hmm. That was for stealing, robbing.
Yeah.
They told me like either you go to drug because I was just blaming it on the drugs, which is kind of what I was doing. I was taking things to get high, buy weed.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you need to go to drug rehab.
When do you think you became an active addict?
I feel, you have addictive personalities very young.
Yeah.
It's just food.
Okay.
Food. Mm-hmm. I feel like anybody who has an addictive personality, food is their first thing usually.
Okay. Well, and then you start getting high from stealing and
absolutely
criminal activity.
And then just starting to smoke weed. Once I started smoking weed, and because I smoked weed multiple times when I was younger, I never felt the effects until one day I felt it. I was like, okay, this is what getting high is, and it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
And from that point on, it was just like, what do I got to do? And then trying acid for the first time, I'm like, that's all. And that was cheap. Here, you want a cheap high? Acid's that. $5 and you get good for 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. Acid was always that.
I want a high for it deal.
It still is. Even though the price has gone up, it's still relatively cheap. You may pay $10 for it, but it's still the same high.
That's on paper, right?
Yeah.
So you have a little piece of paper and you put it on your tongue?
Yeah.
And then
I told you, like when I went to San Francisco, or maybe I didn't talk about that. When I quit my job and I went to New Year's Eve, I went there to go and find this one person to get some like acid. Mm-hmm. It was funny because my buddy's like, oh yeah, his name's Chuck. You're looking for him. And he looks like there was the guy who used to be like the sound tech for, I think he was sound, or was he like the Grateful Dead? His name was Ramrod. And he's like, oh, he looks like Ramrod. And I'm like, all right. And the funniest thing was I was sitting in the dead lot and I was like, I'm not friend of this guy. I saw the guy. I know that guy right there. I ran up to him. I was like, you know Jumbo? And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
Jumbo?
I was like, is your name Chuck? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm supposed to find you. I was like, I'm supposed to find you. And Dave told me that I can get the dose. And I was like, and I bought a sheet from you when you were in town.
This is divine intervention.
Yeah. And so I bought, and it was super. It was already cheap when at the Grateful Dead when he would come to town. I think I paid $50 for a sheet.
You want to know something interesting? The only person to ever offer me drugs was also named Chuck. So we're in a friend's apartment and we're all partying and I'm drunk, whatever. I've never done drugs. And he goes, hey, come here. And I go, okay, what's up? And this guy's like, way older than me. He's way older. And he goes, come here, I got to show you something. And I go, okay. And he takes my wrist and he drags me into a room and he shuts the door and he's standing in front of the door. And I'm like, I'll fucking
Yeah,
kill
right.
you.
What are you about to do here?
Right. Like I'm wide eyed and shit. And I'm like, how do I get out of this room? And he goes, come here. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And he goes, no. Do you want some cocaine?
Yeah, some
and
cocaine.
it's like
Some cocaine.
It's just 4 lines, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
My mother told me not to do those drugs.
Right. And so I leave the room,
Help,
and I
help.
go. Then I go up to Chris and I go, we have to leave. And he goes, why? And I go, because this guy dragged me into a bedroom. And he goes, what?
He tried to offer me
and I go,
drugs.
and then he asked me if I wanted cocaine, and he goes, he must really like you because people don't offer cocaine.
He
to
didn't offer
other-
me any cocaine. I've
He
been
was
asking
like-
for the last hour if he has any, and he keeps telling me no.
he was like, that's a really nice
Right.
gesture. And I'm like, get me out of this
Yes, if you
prison.
do drugs, it's a nice gesture.
Right. Give me out of here.
Free drugs is always
Right.
nice.
Well, and it's funny because we had a friend, a mutual friend that always did cocaine, and I didn't realize, like, I didn't know what like jaw jacking was or anything
yeah.
like that. So when I first met Chris, and we have this friend, and he's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, where is he getting all the cocaine? I go, where is he getting this cocaine? And he goes, Amber, you can literally get cocaine in the bathroom right here in the bar we were standing here. And I'm like, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that drugs were that accessible. I don't, which good, because
Right.
yeah, no, I've never done them. But yeah,
It
it's
could have
just,
been even more awesome if you did do something.
you know, it'd be way better is if you did drugs.
So much more awesome.
I do have to say, Blackout Amber is a lot of fun. She's
I
a
mean,
lot
they
of
do
fun.
make for good memories.
They do for
Good
you.
stories. Good stories.
Not for
Maybe
me.
not memories. Good stories.
I have 0 memories.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you went in the beginning for just like stealing and drug possession?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stealing mostly. Yeah, and then the one when I got busted at the Dead Show.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was the only time I ever got busted for and did anything for drugs.
Yeah.
Everything was all stealing.
Okay.
You know.
You don't have a memorable jail stay?
Not really. I mean, Ohio sucked definitely.
Yeah.
It's like almost like you're in boot camp.
Is that your worst experience?
Well, you mean for a prolonged stay, or like my worst experience was in Miami when I with Fish,
With
and it was
my
only 24
husband.
hours
With my husband.
for on the police report a small amount of marijuana.
By the way, I'll put up Aaron's mugshot because we have that one. It's actually going to sit.
That was the worst. The most. Oh my god, the smell, the piss, like, and they're like, oh god, it was the worst jail experience I've ever been. It's probably there, or Ohio, Dayton, where you have to get up and they just move you into another cell, and you're not allowed to fall back asleep like sitting at the table. You have to stay up the whole time. There's no reason why they're moving you from this cell to this cell, other than they just trying to make you jump through hoops. I've never had that happen in any other jail where they're just waking up and making you go sit over there in that cell, and then you go back to that cell. I mean, literally, it's only 10 feet away.
They're just trying to torture you.
That's it, really.
Good. You're a criminal.
Sometimes I feel like they do it. It's like you don't want to come back. They give you an experience like that,
Yeah.
to kind of scar you and be like, you don't want to go back to that
Yeah.
place.
You don't want it to be an
That
easy.
was with the nitrous. That's when we got busted in nitrous in Dayton.
Okay.
But it was terrible. And we were there for like 2 days. But 2 days, like waking up in the morning, go in that cell. This is the dining area or the eating area, and it was just a metal like a picnic bench type thing.
Yeah.
And of course, we're still tired. You just kind of want to put your head down, and it's like, no, you couldn't do that. You had to like stay awake, upright, and I know. Because in other places I've been, other counties, they whatever.
Just go to sleep.
Pretty much, even if it's on the floor, some of them make you come out of your cell.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one stopping you from sleeping. Like if you just fall asleep on the floor or something,
Yeah.
But that place, no, they really wanted to make you jump through hoops.
So
It was
you-
horrible.
I was going to ask you if you
But
think.
Miami was worse.
Okay. So let's talk about
was worse.
Miami.
Miami was worse. I was looking for, it was when Fish first got back together for their they were doing New Year's Eve in Miami, 09.
By the way, he was with my husband for this.
Yeah. And so.
And I didn't know you then.
I was walking around and I was trying to find a ticket, because we went down there with no tickets.
Right.
So I'm going to the lot. Who's got my ticket? Da, da, da. And I had a little bit of money in my hand. Usually when you're looking for a ticket.
Which also, I could never do that. The anxiety that would fill me to like go to a show and like in Miami and then just be like, yeah, I don't have a ticket, like not a guaranteed getting in. I would cry. It gives me anxiety just knowing
Yeah,
that you just
being in
go
Miami,
and
I'm
like,
sure we would have found something else to get into. We're in Miami.
yeah,
so,
that's true.
if we didn't get in the show, and there's people partying in the lots, we probably would just stayed in the lot until,
Yeah.
party's there.
Yeah. It's like tailgating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
So I got like a little bit of money in my hand, and this is when I was growing weed. I had some just really killer weed. Some
Yeah.
of the best strains I ever grew. It was lemon skunk. So I'm walking around with a little bit of bud, And I was like, who's got my ticket? Usually when you at the Dead show, you put your finger in the air, Dead or Fish or whatever. You put your finger, how many tickets you want. So you want one? Who's got my ticket? Two people? Who's got my tickets? You just put your fingers in there, how many you want. Some people, they're looking for a miracle. A miracle is just giving me a ticket for nothing.
Oh, okay.
Which I've been miracled.
Really?
Like, 2 years. Yeah, even I get miracled not all the time, but it's funny when people will be walking around, I'm looking for a ticket. That girl's ahead of me. She's looking for a ticket too. I make eye contact with the person and it's like, okay, this guy's coming to me. And for 2 years ago, and I went to the front where the entrance gate was, and I'm looking at who's got my ticket. I was maybe there for like maybe 5 minutes, and there's two people ahead of me that also have their fingers in the air. And so all of a sudden I make eye contact with that. I was like, this guy's coming to me. I've already done this before where, this guy's coming. He's telling me my finger. He comes, he's like, hey, if you want to follow me in right now, I'll miracle you in. And I think I even had money. I was looking to pay for a ticket. I wasn't looking for a miracle. I was not looking for it. Maybe those people ahead of me were looking for a miracle. I wasn't. I think I didn't want to pay like a lot for the ticket. And I was probably looking for underface, but I was willing to give some money. So he's like, if you follow, because it was like early, I got there early because I wanted to make sure I got the ticket.
If you follow me and you're like, no, all right.
Well, because we got there early and we got there because I wanted to make sure I got a ticket. So it was only like 5 o'clock, 5:30 or something.
Yeah.
So most people aren't going in yet.
Okay.
So he's like, if you follow me in, I'll, miracle you in. I was like, sweet. Yeah. Like I put my money away. I was like, yeah, sweet. Let's go. I'm in. So as we're walking up, I'm like, so what's the deal? I was like, why you? He's like, my son was supposed to be here and we were supposed to go together, but he couldn't come. I'm here for 3 days. I have like 3-day passes. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's like, I'm giving you this miracle. But he's like, I'm also going to the other two. Because I think I asked him, what are you going to do with the other two? And he's like, I'm going to miracle some other people on each day.
Aww.
And I was like, well, I don't have any tickets. My friends are there. I was like, I don't have any tickets. I was like, I'll give you some money for them or something. It would be awesome, if I can buy those from you.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I think we could do that. And I was like, all right, cool. That would be so awesome. And he's like, he's like, give me your number. I'll give him your number. He's like, I'll transfer him when I get to my spot. I'll transfer him over to you. And so I was just thanking him. And as we're going through he's like, you know what? He's like, I was like, so what do you want for tickets? He's like, don't even worry about it.
Oh.
So he gave me 3 days.
Again,
3 days.
The only person I know who gets rewarded for bad behavior.
I didn't do anything bad. I was just looking for tickets.
Not yet.
Yeah, right. And the funny thing, I was like, and as we were leaving, I was like, hey, man, do you drink beer? I was like, well, here's $10. At least buy yourself a beer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and by the way, I will be, because they were lawn seats. He was in pavilion. And I was like, right when I got to the lawn, he asked me, he's like, what's your email address? Like, I was like, am I going to have to like call this guy or something? Is he going to even follow through? Got there and he's like, I'm sending him right now. Boom. 3 tickets sent to my Ticketmaster account. I was like, well, I'm behind on the lawn. There's like a blue something thing. I was like, just follow the blue arrow. That's where we're at, straight down on the lawn. I was like, whatever. I was like, I'll party up, whatever you want.
Yeah. And
he's like, oh, I might take you up on that. And on the first night, he actually did come by and I got him stoned. I was like, I got mushrooms and Molly too. I was like, whatever you want. He's like, no, just weed's enough. I was like, well, just so you know, I'll be here, all 3 nights and everything. But we got to sit and talk. He was a teacher.
Oh, okay.
He's a teacher, so we just got to sit and talk.
Yeah.
And I gave him my age. He's like, you're how old? I was older than him.
How old are you?
Yeah,
Put how old you think Aaron is in the comments. Yeah. I want to know what you have to say.
Guess how old Aaron is game.
Yeah. Guess how old Aaron is.
It's been done for years. So what am I boring you? Are my stories boring you?
What are they fucking boring? Okay, so you go to Miami, you get in, you have your tickets.
No, I didn't get in. I'm looking for the ticket. I got my hand. I show one guy the weed. And
Wait, I thought the guy miracled you in.
No, that was 2 summers ago. This is Fish. Trey had been, all right, so there's 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 Fish.
Okay.
I've been there for all 3. So we're in 3.0 right now because Trey, they did a hiatus and they didn't know when it was going to again because Trey was fucked up on drugs.
Okay.
He was doing drugs and he got busted. He got busted like partying somewhere and then the cop pulled and he accredits getting busted for saving his life. So once he got off drugs and then he's like, I'm going to go back. Fish is getting back together.
Yeah.
This was in 2009. So I was like, I made a plan. I was like, I started dealing with the nitrous mafia. And I'm like, I got like 15 tanks of nitrous. I was like, we're going down the mountain. We're going to make a bank load. Guess what? We're there. I've never seen so much nitrous at a show other than Bonnaroo or there's so much left and right.
Yeah.
And all the gas, it was all for naught.
Oh, no.
I made no money. Yeah, I was walking around trying to get a ticket.
How big are these tanks?
There were smaller ones. When I was getting them years ago, they were the 5-foot tanks.
Because I'm thinking huge. Like a helium
tank.
25
pounds worth of gas in them.
Okay.
I think the big ones are like 50 pounds of
Yeah.
gas.
I'm just thinking like when I
The tall ones are like this big and like
like a
become
helium
fat-
tank.
Helium tank? Oh no, they sell big
Yeah,
helium
like a-
tanks too.
like a big one, yeah.
because
Yeah.
it makes thin ones too.
Okay.
Yeah, the big one.
All right.
Okay, but the small ones were, and the thing was, these guys, the Nitrous Mafia, they don't sell in nitrous tanks. They use old carbon dioxide tanks, and they just have them filled with the carbon dioxide because you can tell by the valve on it what it's been used, what it's used for, what gas is in it. Walking around trying to get a ticket, all of a sudden, somebody grabbed me from behind and wrenching my arm behind my back. It's 2 fucking cops.
No.
And they were like, what do you got there, bro? And I was like, nothing. I ain't got nothing. I was like, a little bit of weed. And they're like, you selling drugs? I'm like, no. Like, we saw you trying to sell those drugs. I was like, no, I was trying to trade it for a ticket, and he didn't give it. We didn't make a trade. And they're like, and he shot me, and they were like, well, you're going to jail. And then as they grabbed me, I had a bunch of Xanax, like wrapped up in my sleeve. And they're like, what are these? I was like, high blood pressure medication. I was like, high blood pressure medication. And they're like, yeah, okay. And this was the beginning of cell phones. It was 2009. They didn't, cell phones were out, but there wasn't any like pills.com where you like quickly look it up like they can now.
Right.
So they're like, okay. And so they took them. If they would have busted me on those pills, those would be felonies. And guess what? When I got out of the place, they gave me back those pills.
Oh my God.
They gave them back to me. They gave them back to me. I was like, I can't believe they gave them back to me. High blood pressure medication. But anyways, they grabbed me. I was like, what the hell? They're like, the cop got me and wrenched behind my back, and he's like, go ahead, run. He's like, I want you to run so I can tackle you around and beat your ass. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I was like, I have a little butt of weed.
You're like,
I was like, I'm not going to run for, like, it was a bud. It was like this big.
Right.
And then as we're walking to the paddy wagon, some guy blows a huge hit of pot smoke in the cop's face. I was like, what about him? He's like, I don't care about him. I got you. And I'm like, this cop was so mean to me. They cuffed me so tight. It took me like 2 weeks. I thought they caused nerve damage because they cuffed me so tight.
Oh my God.
I lost feeling in my finger and my thumb and everything. I thought that they caused nerve damage. It came back after like 2 or 3 weeks. They were so mean. And I was like, why were they so mean to me? Guess what? I was wearing a Sons of Anarchy hoodie. I guarantee he thought I was a biker. Because it has the back like a biker's, like the uppercut. And
yeah.
and a lot of people didn't know what Sons of Anarchy. I was like, it's a TV show. But I've had people when I'm on my motorcycle, I was wearing it, and they're like, oh yeah, that biker gang. I was like, no, it's a TV show. And so the cut, it looks just like what a biker cut looks like. It has a top rocker, a bottom rocker, and a sweatshirt.
I see.
And I guarantee those Miami cops saw this guy. And I was growing the scruff out and everything.
Right. And they think you're like a white supremacist.
Just a biker. There would have been no other reason why he would have grabbed me like that and wrenched me and cuffed me and like, to run. I want you to run so I can tackle you and beat the shit out of you.
Jesus.
For a bud. And on the police report, it said a small amount of marijuana. It didn't even give a weight. They always put a weight, small amount of marijuana. That's what it said on the police report. And I ended up, because I got busted like when I was younger, and the public pretender got me 2 years. He said it was going to be a year, and by the time I was done, good time, I'd be out 10 months. No, I got sentenced 2 years flat. I ended up doing 18 months on it because of a public pretender, defending me. Well, when I was in jail, I was like, I ain't going to let no, for this, I was like, I'm not going to get stuck in here because I'm a public pretender to defend me. And it was funny because I had never seen this before. The judge is on a monitor. They're not even there.
Yeah.
There's like 6 different public defenders like that all speak. One guy speaks Dominican. This guy speaks. They all because you're in Miami.
Right.
So I was just listening. I was like, what are they saying? I was like, and they asked you to defend. I was like, I'm going to defend myself. So I went up to the judge and I was like, I just mimicked exactly said what the public defender said.
Fucking pro se.
And they're just like, I was like, what do you recommend? And here's what the judge said. He's like, we recommend that you stay incarcerated for 30 days, and which then you go through drug rehabilitation, and we will expunge the record for a small bun. 30 days. I was like, and a second choice, he's like, you take the conviction. And I was like, in time served? He's like, in time served. I was like, I'll take that one. for the
you
night I spent in
are
jail.
the luckiest, and you know what? It's probably because you're a Taurus. 2 of my sisters, or all my siblings are Taurus. The luckiest motherfuckers I know.
I mean, that was luck just because I was like, I had been through like letting a public defender defend me and then him lying to me and me getting more time out. I was like, I'm not going to get stuck in this again for a small bit of marijuana.
Right.
I'm like, they grabbed me. They manhandled me for a small amount of marijuana on their police report. I'm just going to, it's a misdemeanor.
Right.
I'm going to defend myself.
God damn it.
They eliminate any chance of me doing more, spending more time here that I shouldn't have.
I could pay $5 million and I'd go to jail forever.
Yeah. And even the guys that were there, like, you going to defend yourself? I was like, yeah. They're like, you're going to? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then when I got it, I was like, they're like, I can't believe you just did that. I was like, I just listened to what those guys were saying. all those public pretenders over there. I just listened to what they said. I mimicked them and added a little inner pizzazz to it.
A little pizzazz.
Yeah, you know?
That's it for this episode of Been There, Done That, Got Arrested. Thanks for hanging out with us. On the next episode, we'll cover whatever the fuck happens to
That's
Aaron.
right.
Yeah.
There's many more stories. I got a bunch.
I'm Amber.
I'm Aaron.
Bye.
Bye.